And now I'm joined by Danica Dalziel of the Partick Thistle Women's side here to talk about the women's team. Danica, hello, how are you? You doing okay?
I'm good. How are you, David? All right?
I'm not bad. I'm excited to have this wee chat. We've wanted to have more people on for the women's team, and I think there was a bit of a reticence from people to come on because they didn't want to sound daft. So first of all, we'll get straight into it. You were recently awarded the Player of the Month for October, so congratulations for that. How do you feel about that?
Thank you, appreciate it. I mean, there's a first for everything, I think, in the lengthy career that I've had. So, I mean, it was a nice feeling, to be honest. But yeah, no, good. I think, in my own opinion, I think if there was a Player of the Month, to give it to someone, I think it should have been everyone, to be honest. And the hard work the girls have been putting in, I feel like it was probably rewarded in the sense of what I'd done for the girls. But I think everyone showed how hard they can work in the first place anyway, to kind of try and prevent the goals coming in. But yeah, it's nice. It's a nice feeling.
Thistle had quite the run of it over October. You played both Rangers, Celtic and Glasgow City in the space of about 8-9 days. That must have been a tough shift. Yeah,
I mean the girls have been working extremely hard. The run of games that we've had midweek and then the Sunday again. I mean, it's been a lot. There's a lot of tired legs in there. We're carrying a lot of injuries, but I think it shows these girls are here to. I mean, right now they're making history at the end of the day for Partick Thistle Women's, and I think that their attitudes have shown that, the hard work have shown that, and I think that, I mean, for us to be where we're at on the table, it just shows the commitment that all these girls are making. So I think it's great, and it's a great club to be a part of.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, they're currently 6th in the table, and you were 5th until last week until you had a very unfortunate game against Hearts. I seem to remember that it might have been Craig Walker actually who posted it, but somebody posted on the Saturday, they just had a text message saying I love football, and then the Sunday they just had another text message saying I hate football. Really, the duality of the joy.
Yeah, that's the brutal reality of football.
Yeah, because to add to your problems as well, Thistle Women's didn't have a goalkeeper for several weeks. So what's the sort of
the scenario? How did it come around?
Yeah, and what do you do in that case? Is it a case of somebody steps up, I was a goalkeeper as a Wayne, or is it a case of rock paper scissors tournament and whoever's last goes in goals?
I mean, potentially, because my luck always runs out when it comes to that anyway. So, but no, listen, David, I've had a little bit of experience of it before. I mean, I had to step in for another club at one point, and just was still there. And to be honest, it's just one of those positions that, I mean, it's obviously all this pressure's put on you, so I could probably give a shout out to Jamie Snedden right now for actually dealing with me in that process. But yeah, I think it is a case of just stepping up, who's available. If the club obviously can't get a kind of backing keeper in quick enough, then obviously someone has to step up in that instance. So I was able to do that, but I wouldn't be able to do it without the support of the girls, to be honest. So it just kind of worked out really well, and I know that I probably could have saved a lot more, but hopefully I prevented more actually coming. So
I have actually played in goals at Firhill. They have the Firhill Cup tournament, and I get planked in goals one game, and it's the most terrifying experience in my life. You don't realise how small you are until it's a professional goal. You're like, oh my god, how big are these goals? And somebody, I think it was one of the centre backs, someone came up to me afterwards. You looked like the smallest man in the world in between those goals. I felt it. So fair play to anybody who can step up and go into that role, because absolutely it's terrifying. And and against the best teams in the country as well, it's not an enviable job, but no, an absolutely fantastic shift to put in to take up that mantle. Would you say you're more of a quiet keeper, or are you marshalling the defenders, telling them to get back in their fucking positions and all that? Or are you more
I mean, if you listen to any highlights with your sound on, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to hear me, to be honest. I'm a bit of an effing and blinding, and to be honest, but that's just been years of experience, I think, to be honest. I've always got something to say. I think it's probably something that lacks in the women's game, to be honest. I mean, a junior men's team playing down a park down the road from you before you even get there. So I think it's something that probably has to be worked on in the women's game. But yeah, I'm definitely one of those that you cannot miss, to be honest. So I think it's just that's just part of the game, I suppose, as well, isn't it? I think you've got to be able to help each other. And I think that the way that the girls they're doing so well at the moment, I think for me to come in, it's just literally about using my experience and and helping it like these girls up as much as they can. I mean, I've had quite a big gap being out of the game for a while, but over the course of my career, I think just learning these sort of things that can just help, then I'm here for it. So
definitely. And how are you feeling about going into sort of November, December time? Because the winter break sort of only 5-6 weeks away, is that right?
Yeah, it's 5-6 weeks away. Sorry. So we've got Rangers next, so that's a week on Sunday. So we'd love it if obviously we can get a crowd there. It'll be an interesting tie. I mean, the last game didn't really go as planned, but I mean, hopefully we don't have a game this Sunday, so obviously that prep for the next 2 weeks is just going to be all about that game, and hopefully we can actually get a better result than last time. So we've got Rangers, and then the following week we've got Aberdeen and then Glasgow City. So again, it is a hard run. Hopefully we pick up some points next week, and then I think the Aberdeen game should be a game that we should be taking points from. But I think, hopefully have even the support from Partick Thistle. I mean, obviously we've got the men's team as well, and hopefully we can start getting more crowds to the women's game, because you're playing the likes of these big clubs. We're all making part of history now for all these types of clubs, and the men's team's having the women's team. So the women's game's growing and growing, and we want to be able to help that for the club as well. So
definitely, and I absolutely want to unequivocally, say here, so season tickets are available. If you can get down and go to games, absolutely go. I've been to several SWPL games over the last couple of years, and it's a great game to watch. And I definitely suggest it. And absolutely, I mean, where the Thistle Women's team have came from in the last, say, 4 years is unbelievable. And just the sort of strides that they made to be in the top league. And how, I mean, this might sound silly, but how good is it for you being able to watch yourself on like Sports Scene on a Sunday night or whatever, and watching the highlights and stuff like that? Is that something that you think about very often, that sort of extra visibility?
I mean, not that I'm enjoying it now, David. It's been a few years, so I'm not enjoying the pounds that I see on the telly, to be honest. But I think that just shows you how far the women's game has come. And I think, like, back in the day when I was at, like, even for example, Glasgow City, even Rangers, we didn't have that scope for the women's game. So seeing that now and the coverage that the game's getting, I go back to the point that these girls here have made history, for the point that, we came up, obviously for the unfortunate thing that Forfa folded, but coming up to this league, and these girls are making history. So to actually have that in the locker, to be where they're at just now, we just want to keep building on that. And I think that it just shows, like, the crowds that we're getting, the support we're getting, and I don't think we'll ever come away from the stick that we get from the men's game, but it is a different game. We're keeping the standard high, and it's good to watch, and I think it shows in the highlights, the goals that we're scoring, from range of all the different clubs. We all play a different style of play, and it's interesting. It's growing and it's growing, and it's great to see. I mean, I'm obviously at that age now where I'm looking back and thinking, I wish we had that 10 years ago. So, and I'd love to see more people there, more crowds there, and more backing from obviously the men's as well. And it's great just to be at this club and be involved as well. So it's definitely a good club to be a part of.
Yeah, and obviously with Brian Graham as the manager, obviously very well known to ourselves for his work with the men's team, obviously packing in the goals here and there. But what is it like being under Graham?
Brush his ego here.
I can definitely see that. What's it like being managed by Brian? What sort of manager is he?
I'd probably say the manager is the exact type of player he is. Passionate. He's obviously got an eye for the game. He's like, he just wants, see that passion for the men's team he has every game that they play. Like, he brings that into the changing room. He wants us to work our asses off in training and in games, and he's very encouraging in that sense. Like, and I love it because, like I said previously, the effing and blinding. I mean, he's definitely a bit of that as well. But I think, it's good, and I think that helps as well. And he's a big personality, and it definitely shines across. Like, all the backing team are brilliant. Obviously, Ross Docherty, he's probably the quiet one, but I mean, the knowledge he's got as well as being captain, it's really encouraging. And I think that it drives it back to the men's being more involved, and I think that it's a great part of the women's side to have. So it's good, and I think that's definitely room to grow as well, and everything for the club. So it's good. Not a bad word to say, put it that way.
Magic. I'll let the gaffer know. 3 wee quick fire questions just before you go, because I've always wanted to do this. I'm a big avid reader of avid reader of the match day programme. For any team that I go to, so I always love the bit where they ask the players sort of Q&A questions. So I've got 3 questions for you. Who's got the best and worst music taste in the dressing room?
Oh, they're going to kill me for this, but I'm going to say Cara McBertie.
For best or worst?
That's for worst, because I don't necessarily agree with her selection.
I know that if I was a professional footballer, every single quiz, like the programme where they ask who's got the worst music taste, it would be me that they would be saying David has shocking music taste. Question.
It's a hard one, but that's only because if I get the phone and I'm before everyone else and my tunes are on, that's when everyone else tries to kick me off. So I don't know if I'd put myself the worst in that point.
It's a pain I know all too well, Danica. Who's the prankster in the dressing room?
Oh, that's a weird one. I don't know, who could that be? It's a joker. Oh God, I can't even think.
If you don't know, it's you.
Actually, you know what? No, definitely Cheryl Rigdon. Like, yeah, she's always got one or two. Yeah, like you need to watch her. Like, she's the type of gal that will lie down behind someone and then you push them and they fall over. She's that type of one.
Well, get her on the wall for the free kicks. That'll be smashing.
Yeah, that would be a good shout. I might actually put her in that next time.
Who's got the best or worst dress sets in the dressing room?
God, that's a hard one as well. I think of all the time, I've only been here 6-7 weeks. We've been out once, maybe we've had one night off. God, the worst. I feel bad saying this. I don't think, of what I noticed, I don't think anyone was that bad, to be fair. I can't stick anyone in that. We'll just say Craig, because he's looking at me here.
I know, it's tracksuits all the time. It just doesn't work, does it?
I mean, I don't think that. Nah, I'm not going to put anyone in for that. I can't help it, David. Everyone was all right, to be fair.
We'll get you the next interview. We'll get you dishing the dirt next time.
The Christmas night out comes, I might change my mind and call you.
Definitely. We'll definitely need to get you on for all the salacious gossip from the Christmas night out in January when you've all recovered from your hangovers. Definitely. And obviously there's the fundraiser going on, the GoFundMe at the moment, where you can donate to the women's team, just because obviously it's in the moment you're all part-time and try to raise money just to keep everything ticking over and stuff like that. And definitely I would encourage people to look out on the Thistle Women's social media for the GoFundMe to stick a wee bit of money there if you can.
Exactly. Thank you, David. Appreciate that.
No problem. Thanks again, Danica, for doing this. It's been great. Hopefully we'll have yourself and more of the team on sometime soon. But good luck for the next couple of weeks, and we'll speak to you soon then.
Thanks so much, David. That was great. And we'll catch up soon. And just get it out there, get as many people as there as we can, and hopefully we get a win against Rangers for the club.